So an opportunity to get across the finish line and grab some points for 10 more teams. Alongside Annie Sakamoto, the Masters CrossFit Games champion, my name is Joel Godet. Lauren Smith, our reporter down on the floor. Our standings after one day of competition for the teams, dominated by CrossFit Mayhem. CrossFit Torian Mayhem, CrossFit Mayhem Mayhem, Raw Iron CrossFit Mayhem Thunder. CrossFit Mayhem's Instagram account was loving it this morning. If you went on social media, they are cleaning up in that programming camp. Event number 4, the earthworm is back, Annie.
Right, and we're going inverted with that earthworm. So these teams will perform 20 earthworm cleans and then 60 handstand push-ups at 2 different stations, so 120 reps total, 20 more earthworm cleans, and then back to the wall for 40 strict handstand push-ups at 2 different stations, a final 20 earthworm cleans, and then here's the crux of this workout, 10 freestanding handstand push-ups per athlete. Time cap of 15 minutes.
Full list of 10 teams in this second heat. CrossFit Kima, led by Travis Williams, longtime Games athlete, more excited that he is competing, though, with 3 rookies, and he was able to help them get to the Games this year. In lane 9, defending champion CrossFit Invictus is in lane 3. Invictus Unconquerable is actually higher on the leaderboard, the second team for the Sea of Green in lane 4. In lane 19 is the team from CrossFit Holistic and Luleå, Sweden. Admittedly, handstand push-ups is a worry for that bunch, so this is a big test.
Yeah, this is a damage control event for this team. Like you said, handstand push-ups hurt them at the semifinals, but they were 10th at Farrington last night, and they said that that was a surprise. What they need, Joel, is another surprise on this event.
And then CrossFit Querétaro, trying to be the best Latin American team. They're the first Mexican team to ever make it to the CrossFit Games, but the best Latin American team was 18th, Big Fins Recoleta, back in 2017. They're sitting on a potential cut line right now, 11th overall.
10 seconds. Stand by.
We are off to the earthworm, starting things out with 20 earthworm power cleans. This implement broken up into 4 individual sandbags, you can see tied together with a rope, 100-pound sections for the women, 125-pound sections for the men. We're joined now as well by Nicole Christensen, level 4 CrossFit trainer, the owner of CrossFit Roots in Colorado. You guys have an earthworm out there?
We do not have an earthworm. I definitely would want one of these new ones. It's too heavy.
Yeah, amen to that.
It does not look 100 pounds, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep. The female sections are 100 pounds each, and the male sections are 125.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get fitter and you need heavier worms for these teams out there over a decade, but I don't know if I'd want one in the gym.
Nicole, I want to take you back to the point that Annie and I talked about in the first heat, and that was when it comes to handstand push-ups, a more advanced skill for people that get into CrossFit. Maybe they don't feel comfortable getting upside down, or they haven't done a handstand push-up before. From the experience of a level 4 trainer, how do you get somebody comfortable upside down to build the strength to do some sort of inverted movement?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes just with a lot of familiarity over time by coming consistently to CrossFit. So if you look at before they even get upside down, you got things like a push press and you got things like a strict press that they can start to develop some strength in that movement, and then slowly teaching them how to be able to go upside down. It might be as simple as putting your hands on the ground and doing a straight leg kick and just kind of moving through that for a bit, and slowly those little experiences turn into someone touching the wall for the first time. So, you know, at the end of the day, I like to think of the kipping handstand push-up as just the push press upside down. So it starts to kind of bleed together, I guess, over time.
There's CrossFit EXF, one of the 3 Oceania teams, 20th place overall. Their best finish was on the run outside, and the bob push last night at Farrington Field, 14th overall. Nicole, they're a cool story too, because that's an affiliate that became an affiliate, started in the park after COVID. They were doing things with battle ropes, kind of had boot camp style classes. Got to winter, they said, all right, we need to do this indoors. What are we going to do? They opened a CrossFit affiliate. That's what this is about, how the community comes together.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that just warms my heart. I mean, I think about all the different stories you hear over the years of people starting in their garage, starting at a park, starting pulling equipment out of the back of a truck at a parking lot. And when it comes down to it, you get the good thing going, and then it just blossoms into something that becomes an affiliate. And then, look at them. They're here on the floor at the CrossFit Games.
How did Roots start?
Roots started out of our one-car garage back in 2009, and kind of a similar story. It was real cold in the garage in the winters, and we had a really great group of people, but maybe wanted a little bit warmer environment, and so we took the plunge into going to a different inside location, full location, I guess you could say, about 6 months later.
So we are on to the kipping handstand push-ups now. 60 at each station. They do not have to be divided evenly between these athletes, so you can lean on those that are more efficient at this movement, although certainly you don't want to tax them into oblivion here still with strict handstand push-ups and freestanding handstand push-ups still on the horizon. And you look at the splits as compared to the opening heat, this group is faster.
Definitely, and we'll see CrossFit Overtake was the first to the wall. 60 handstand push-ups, really 120 between the two teams is quite a bit. So let's see if they set out a little hot or if they're able to hang on to that quick lead.
This is Invictus Unconquerable, and that's actually Hannah Black on the wall right in front of you. Did not do a handstand push-up at semifinals. Similar situation, teams could divide the work. It's not a strength for her.
Right.
She looks fine.
She does right now, and maybe one of the strategies for Unconquerable right now is have her do some of the kipping handstand push-ups. I could see her maybe not doing any or many of the strict handstand push-ups. So again, a lot of ways that you can strategize this as a team, and that's kind of why I really like this event is you have choice as a team in this event.
CrossFit Levy is first back out to the worm at the 4:30 mark. The split from the first heat was that the second grouping of worm power cleans was done at 8 minutes and 2 seconds. I think we're going to blow that number out of the water here in heat 2.
I think you're right, Joel.
We're at 4:46, and they've got 19 reps to go. Ocean State Surge is a massive power output team on the left. Ethan Helbig's a former hockey goalie at the front of the line. The former Christine Middleton is at the back.
One of the strongest athletes. You corrected me yesterday. Not one of the strongest female athletes. One of the strongest athletes, period, in the field.
Holds the clean and jerk record in CrossFit competition. 5 minutes and 13 seconds ticking into this event. Again, the split was 8:02 from the first heat to get through this set of power cleans. It's one of the neat things when you look at CrossFit Games events, how it translates to the affiliate. And what I think is cool in this particular test, it's a dealer's choice. And that's what a normal class is, too, when you do a team workout. What am I going to do? What are you going to do? How are we going to get through the hours?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the elements of this workout are very reflective of what you might see on a Saturday morning at an affiliate. You show up, you've got teams of 4, teams of 3, and everybody's got to navigate through the workout, figuring out how they can best contribute to what's at hand.
You just saw CrossFit Invictus Unconquerable kind of struggling with their worm. They were talking to their judge, so something's going on where they're either getting no reps. They look like they're struggling a little bit with that earthworm right now.
CrossFit Overtake and EXF are tied at the top, 90-91 reps. Keeping our eye on Querétaro, who came in 11th overall. Again, a potential cut line after today at the top 10 teams. Trying to be the best Latin American team in CrossFit Games history, and is the second youngest team in the field. 26 years old is the average for Querétaro there in 11th place. And 11:24 in 12th place with 2 athletes that had never competed at a semifinal coming into this year.
That's wild.
I actually had the chance to drop in to that gym when we were working a level 4. They hosted it, and talk about one of the most beautiful gyms you have ever seen. If you guys get a chance, I mean, just gorgeous when you walk in these giant glass walls. Everything's like laid out so well. It's so clean. And these guys, these owners, they're tremendous people. I think Tyler's out there right now on the floor.
Yep, Tyler's there.
Yep. And Callie, his wife, has just been like so wonderful, so welcoming whenever we go down there. So it's a good one to drop into.
Here's another interesting thing about that team. Both Tyler Cook and Sydney Smith are really good at high skill elements. So this could be a good event for them because, again, it really does come down to those freestanding handstand push-ups.
You know, it's actually a funny story. They were actually practicing and trying to learn the freestanding handstand push-up at the lunch break when we were there.
Well, there you go.
And we'll see what the improvement's been like.
Yeah.
We'll see how it's going.
Once again, Overtake is the first team back to the wall off of those earthworm cleans.
Marco Coppola is just cruising with this team. The two men are starting out on the strict handstand push-ups, bottom left of your screen from CrossFit Overtake. And there's Invictus, the defending champions who came in with a huge ton of hype. Josh Alshama was on last year's championship team. Lauren Fisher right behind has podiumed before for a CrossFit team back in 2019 with Invictus. And then the Smith couple, Chandler and Jesse. Now, we have to say this. There may be many reasons this week that teams are not performing to the standards they expected from themselves that have nothing to do with fitness.
Yep.
But you also know that they came into today wanting to really shoot for the stars.
I think so, but I think that's a really important point, Joel. I think, you know, a lot of teams, either their reason for being here has changed or the way that they're able to perform out there has changed. And it's very understandable. And I think a lot of these athletes are going through different emotions and feelings day by day and minute by minute. And so it's hard to see Invictus in that space, but it's definitely not a surprise.
Let's take a look here at CrossFit Levy.
You can see him not only drop the worm, but actually trip over that earthworm. They're all kind of piled up. The fatigue of everything is definitely setting in for Levy's right there.
It looked like CrossFit Kima. That's that group that Travis Williams has captained with 3 rookies. Talked about it during the walkout here in this heat. He said, for me, it's cool. I'm going back to the CrossFit Games. He's been here 5 times. But the coolest moment for him was to see 3 people that never have their names called.
Wow. So like you said, that was actually CrossFit Kima, and now it's Levy's and CrossFit Overtake back to that earthworm for the 3rd and final set of 20 earthworm cleans. 10 minutes through that 15-minute time cap.
Marco Coppola is the team's captain. He's up front, former affiliate owner at Overtake. Brooke the Hook, been around a long time. Brooke Haas in the back, a lot of strength. And then Randy Stevens is a master's athlete at 36 years old. She lives in Fort Worth. The team is staying with her this week.
Slumber party at her house, huh?
1 rep lead on CrossFit EXF and CrossFit Levy.
Both times Overtake has been at the earthworm. They have come out ahead and onto the handstand push-ups first. So let's see if they can hold that pattern going into those freestanding. Right behind them, though, you see CrossFit Invictus. They're in desperate need of some points. I would imagine that they will do quite well at the freestanding handstand push-ups. Chandler Smith being an individual athlete for years.
Look at the splits from the first heat. 13:32 is when the worm work was done for your leader, CrossFit Oslo Pixel. That's still more than 2 minutes away. And Overtake has 9 reps left. There's Marco Coppola up front. You can see him with the communication calling out each lift. He and Brooke Haas-Perigine were teammates back in the Grid League days. They are OGs in the CrossFit competition space. The Miami Surge.
I remember those Grid days.
Do you remember your head-to-head record against the Surge, Annie?
We made it to the finals. That's all I remember. It was us and Kotler's team. How come I just forgot? The Brawlers, the DC Brawlers.
Justin Kotler, the underdogs coach. There is CrossFit Querétaro. Again, we keep harping on where they sit. 11th place, and that's a tie-break 11th place. They have the same number of points as Crestanda.
So this is big that they do better than press standard in this event. But again, you cannot rush. You have to feel good going into these freestanding. Just a few more reps here for overtake. Looks like final rep right there for overtake. About a minute faster than CrossFit Pixel going into these freestanding handstand push-ups.
We talked about one of the younger teams competing. You're looking at the oldest team competing. 35 years old on average. Casey Strong, who's just finished chalking his hands, is the only guy that's not a Masters athlete on this team.
Wow.
That's impressive.
That says a lot.
Yeah, that says a lot.
What's that tell to you as an affiliate owner, actually, Nicole, that you've got people that are in their mid-30s, as if that's old, that are in their mid-30s that are still competing at a really high level?
I think it's just a testament to being smart about your training and moving well through the years and learning through things that don't go well, how to improve your movement, how to make changes. I mean, I think just looking at these athletes and the time and the effort and the training volume that they put in to get here, being able to sustain that once you go into your 30s, I think takes a lot more careful consideration of all the factors that go into that. So it's definitely a culmination of a lot of hard work right there.
Get a really high skill movement, freestanding handstand push-up.
Yeah, I think
how do you coach him through this?
How do you coach him through it? I mean, I think you look at, is there a different technique here? So he's not, we've seen a lot of athletes bringing their knees down, but here this is a true, he's just bringing the head down and going right up, and it might not serve him the best over time if he might need to pull out another strategy as he gets tired into the third and fourth and fifth handstand push-ups by being able to find a little bit of that balance point like we're seeing there, where you're really coming down into the tripod and then pressing up. Bringing the knees down to be able to balance, might serve a lot of athletes pretty well in this.
Josh Alshama just moving. Chandler Smith has done these before.
Yeah.
He was an individual competitor when these handstand push-ups, freestanding, made their debut.
Yeah.
Well, and again, that is why I was talking about utilizing that tripod position, because you actually have a moment where you can balance.
Yes.
Oh,
otherwise, I mean,
thing.
you're under tension in your shoulders the entire time if you're not using that. And I think, I don't know how much of an impact the sandbag has, but being able to shoulder that clean, the shoulders are definitely feeling a level of fatigue in addition to the handstands.
It is a fight for reps. How about Sydney Smith for 11:24? She gets to the finish line. Chandler Smith, 2 seconds. Can he? He completes the work. He doesn't make it to the line.
So
he will get the credit for the reps. That wasn't the finish for the team.
173 reps was the score to beat from Pixel in the heat previous. That was cap plus 12. Oh, look at Tyler Cook, so excited right there.
So we know that they're good at freestanding handstand push-ups. They've got a beautiful affiliate. This is a great advertisement for CrossFit 1124.
So again, all these teams setting out to try to beat 173 reps total, starting with that earthworm and then skipping handstand push-ups, 120 reps between all of them to share. It was CrossFit Overtake that overtook the lead early on, coming off the worm. But then it was CrossFit Levy's that was able to come off the wall first. You see CrossFit came out having a hard time on that worm, kind of dropping the bag and tripping over it. They need to reset. But it was Sydney Smith and those freestanding handstand push-ups, able to get all 10 of them, which was a huge move for 11:24.